My hands are real cold. I need to get in touch with him. Maybe they didn't recognize no, but we don't say about very long. So these are the same games. It's not the same. I'll say that we want all right.
Need to gather. Good evening, all. Good evening. Welcome to the temporary general board meeting for Community Board 9. We don't have an in-person forum at this point, so I'm going to call the meeting to attention. We have people that need to present and lead, so we get a full forum, we'll call the meeting to order and start the procedures that way. So again, welcome, thank you for coming out. I see new faces. Appreciate it. I see old faces, whatever. It's good to be here. And as I always say, thank you for the work that you do for the community, volunteer work you do day in and day out. I appreciate it. And I'm here from the community when I walk around and they appreciate it. So thank you. First presentation we have up is an update from Department of Sanitation. Just here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chair, Manager, Council Member, Community Board Member. So we wanted to give a quick update on the overall containerization efforts that have been progressing through this district. Good. And will be expanded throughout the city. So first, about the pilot that has been ongoing. To date, the pilot has been successful. We have learned a lot from the months that it's been in place. We've seen that rat complaints from just the previous year. Oh, sorry. We've seen that rat complaints from just the previous year have gone down by 60%, which is really great. It has also helped us learn a lot about frequency of collection, the volume that is collected rather than just the tonnage, but also the tonnage. And with all of that, we were able to take what we found and then put together a new citywide plan for how we want to expand containerization to the other buildings. So just a reminder, going back in the fall, the mayor and commissioner announced a plan that 1 to 9 units, 1 to 9 unit buildings will have to use containers starting in fall of February 2024. There isn't an exact date yet, but the plan is for that to be 2024. Those are standard wheelie bins for the containers that you're already using. And then eventually in 2026, there'll be a new standard residents across the city. Then earlier this month, we announced the next one. Sorry, I'll try and. I'll step in a little bit closer. Earlier this month, we announced a plan that we need for an expansion. So that would be for buildings that are 30 plus units. All of those that now be required to use stationary on-street containers that are designated solely specific for those buildings. So like the pilots that in this neighborhood, when we share containers, just solely for those buildings.
Can you pause for just a second?
Yeah.
Because
That's what these guys are over there for. You think those are the handsets would tell them before?
and can you speak to, I think this machine, has a microphone that would pick you up. There's people online now.
I'll try to go both ways. So for units that are 30 plus buildings, they'll be used stationary on-street containers. They'll be solely for those buildings, and they'll be picked up by a new side loading container or a side loading truck that we are developing. You can see video of it online if you're interested. We're currently in the process of making more of those trucks so that we can expand this more widely. And then the other, that means that there's one section of buildings that have enough yet, and that is 10 to 30. 10 to 30, they'll have the decision. They can use either individual wheelie bins, like the 1 to 9 unit buildings, or they can choose to have a stationary on-street container, just like the 30 plus. And the rationale behind that is that based on how many units, how many people live in the buildings, if it's a 30 unit building, but all under studios, a wheelie bin might work better for that. But if they're a 15 unit building, mostly families, 2 to 3 bedrooms or more, then perhaps an on-street container would work better for that. So that is the expansion that will be taking place, and that's our plan for how we're going to move forward with containerization across the city. In order to move forward, we do want to first take that pilot and move it to nine. So in community board 9, this will be the first community board in the city to have a full containerization for residential property, which is really exciting. We are anticipating a start date for that sometime around spring 2025. There isn't a firm date in place. We will be doing a full environmental study before that takes place, but that is our proposed time. Now, these are just the top lines of that plan. We do, we've already discussed with the community board, with the leadership here, that we'd like to come back in March and have a much more in-depth presentation, answer more of your questions, but those are the overall top lines of what the announcement was in early February and how we'll continue.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing that concerns me is there's been quite a lot of there's been incredible the street that how are we talking to that and also how are you going to deal with it after
Great questions.
Okay, question is how they are really going to be stolen. One, how are they going to be able to have on their car, even though their car is going to be a lot.
Really? Great, so, plenty of folks across the city actually use containers like that already. And that actually, I want to remind you that all businesses, starting March 1st, will now have to use those containers for all of their trash. And then again, this is just for trash, it's not for recycling. So what we've told businesses is that we encourage people to return them as quickly as possible to make sure that they are labeled, because of course, you want to be labeled, now increase the depth, there's an address, and then just as you would with any other all like crime issue, if something is stolen, of course, you should report that to the police and report.
Yeah, but even if it's stolen, I still have to spend another $50, so you have specific containers that we have to use. I could be running out $100.
I think she's secure.
Yeah, how do you secure how she's
It's great.
Hi.
I have a she's quite a broken way, so I can speak at the moment as well. And I have people see like this way. Now, what do I do personally? You talk about my personal. I'm sorry, I changed my head. That's what I do. Doesn't mean you do this in the side. But when I take away, I do thinking. Usually now that we now have new sellers and our pickups now from 5 to 5 a.m. in the morning to 2 p.m. shift that we have that we run now. What we will notice most likely in mostly every district, the team is usually out by 5 a.m. and it's about average 5 now is like 4. So therefore, it might go, for instance, by 5:30, we finish done. So we don't use it. So when I leave for work, I put my stuff down. Maybe you're the same thing, but I'm sure. I'm not the same, that's what I've noticed. I might not. That's actually what happens. It's very difficult for us. I'm sorry to say it, but I'm going to say it. Right? I'm also sure what people are looking for picking up damage cast. I think I will get it.
If you're homeless, you can, your own house is the greatest solution. We have a huge community of unhoused people who need to store their stuff.
And now, quick question. Does that include the multiple residential buildings, like if they have more than 40 units, but having an incinerator?
Yes, it's anywhere that has residential collection. Yes, that's as far as I'm aware.
So we can change that.
For me, I think we are happy with the planning. If you want, I'm going to my house, we'll take it, take it back and change it.
They can't be changed at the curb, they can be changed. I totally hear you. We've heard very similar complaints as we expand this rule through. for food stores and then chain stores. And in both of those cases, we have not seen an increase in container theft or reports from those businesses to date. So it was definitely a concern beforehand. As the rules actually went into effect, we have not heard meaningful feedback or seen more of it. So we understand that, it's something that we're taking into effect. And if it does become an extreme issue as part of the pilot, that's something that we'll learn from the continue to expanding across the city.
Questions, where we will start on that?
Meetings that are, meetings that are, students are responsible for the public parking. And we will all learn of here, we have permits, which they will, that the guy, kind of, the guidelines on that, they are. Okay.
So that's not really a question they can answer, but we as a board are looking into parking permits. Because we noticed in the last year or two, cars come from Jersey, cars from Westchester and park on Nickel. And with projection pricing possibly coming, I think that's going to increase. So that's something the board is looking into, parking permits. Yes, you can. Yeah.
So you mentioned experience and feedback. My question is, aside from these general board meetings where you've been summing about once a quarter, what has the public input gathering process looked like? Have you talked to property owners in the blocks that have been affected? Have you had, listening sessions or working sessions with the block associations? Can you explain what since June of last year that process has looked like?
Yeah, so we've done 3 rounds of canvassing through the neighborhood to inform people about the changes as they were upcoming. And we did one after they were in place. I personally was out there and we made sure to knock on every house to speak at least one resident within the within a building. And we have
Yeah.
I can only show you pictures of me being out there, but we did do the round of canvassing out there. And then we held some virtual info sessions before it went to place. Now we've come to these meetings. I've been to the precinct council as well. I think that's about it.
Okay, so here is my issue, if I can. In June of last year, we had a really great discussion. We took an hour out of one of these meetings, which are not about traffic. These meetings are about everything that has to do with the city and this neighborhood. And we had a conversation about your team meeting regularly with the committee that we have to cover sanitation under our uniform services transportation committee, and work with you to both gather feedback from the neighbors and also, bring the program out. I don't think, aside from once in August, there has ever been a follow-up meeting other than you coming here every 3 months. Is that right? There was one in August. And periodically, when we've given feedback, I believe the response has always been the commissioner said no. Is that right? Okay, so I am someone who supports containerized trash pickup. I am also someone, though, who talked to my neighbors on my block about if you'd be interested in participating in the pilot, and we were. And I asked 3 months ago and 6 months ago how a block would raise their hand and ask to be part of this process. And I kept getting we'll get back to, and spoiler alert, no one has gotten back. So what I am saying is you have in this community a pool of people who may have been excited about this and who may have had valuable feedback to give you to improve this pilot. And you had an opportunity to take that, and I don't believe that you ever took advantage of that and you squandered it. And so I am trying to express my frustration in the fact that I learned about the Manhattan MCB9 wide rollout of this from an article that, I don't know, the Spectator or the Optimist or wherever. And we have, DOT does a better job, and they're off. But they come to all of our community meetings, and they ignore our feedback frequently, but we at least have an opportunity to give it. And so this is my frustration, is that this should be a big win, and instead we are bogged down in this kind of lob it over the fence and lob it back and forth, and that's not productive. That's my statement.
Yes. Got a couple.
Yeah, I have a question, and then I have something I'd like to add to the discussion. On our block 149, we're in the pilot program. I live in a townhouse. There are 4 townhouses. There are no more than 2 to 3 families in each of these townhouses. We have 3 dumpsters parked in front of our house. This is not containers. So when we were told this was being rolled out, we have pictures. The dumpsters are not in front of the large 30-ton building. We were supposed to have a single containerized, we presented to us that houses like ours would have individual containers. I come out every day, you want to take a look at what it looks like. And on the blocks of this, buildings that have 2 apartments in them, this is what it looks like every morning. Absolutely.
Oh, my God.
This will come back every fall. That's one.
Yeah.
153, we got 129. Turn around. This is Thursday. 149. Yeah.
Can you show us what's here?
So I don't know, you're not sticking to what was put forward in the pilot program. At a baseline. There's no promise yet. So further to that, I'd just like to say that I support the goals and the sentiment of this program.
Yes.
Who is in for less grass? Who is in for more composting? However, given the other failure of the pilot program, and Pete, as a member of the community, was pushing back against this notion that this is an overwhelming success. I am now finally in a place where I can give my input, because I haven't been able to find it.
Yeah.
The depth of the city council, the Department of Sanitation, and most significantly, Mayor Adams, I am only left to surmise that there are other agendas at play here. This program is central, it's a central tenet of the mayor's reelection campaign. So we are not only fighting on practical grounds, the obstruction of street sweeping, the reduction of parking, the unsanitary debris, and because the street sweepers can't get underneath them, that collects under the dumpsters, being the dam. Well, I was just getting to that, and the base level unsightliness that blights the hard-earned beauty of our block. And beyond fighting on these practical grounds, we are up against a powerful politician preserving the perception of success by any means necessary. Just today, our mayor touts the success of this program from the street in Soho, but is a no-show when those first and foremost affected by this action have a forum to finally express our displeasure. So to our absent mayor, I say this effort to clean up our trash is an actual and not metaphorical hot mess. My further worry is that this is not about rents or costs. This is a discontinued employee to mechanized unionized labor. So to borrow an apt phrase, I smell a rat.
We like the phrase.
I think he expressed quite a bit of response.
Wait, I wanted to just.
I've spoken to the gentleman prior to us meeting. I have the pleasure or displeasure of walking my community, your block as well. And people now know who I am, and I get stopped frequently about the containers. So they promised to do better. Hopefully we can hold you to that. As I said to you, and I'll say it to this audience, I heard about it from the Columbia Spectator newspaper. When they called for an interview saying, what do you think about the expansion of the containerization program? Okay. Now, based on our earlier issues with not communicating, I was astounded that I didn't know. I had egg in my face once again. So I'm just hoping from here forward, we can work with the community. This is the community. We need to work with the community and be out because it's not working the way it is. And as you can see from the picture, I walked the block purposely and I see a lot of garbage overflowing. And people looking for bottles, okay, they go in, they're not needed, so it ends up on the ground. So I know there's another, prototype. We had a swinging door explosives. I don't know how we use that, but just going forward. Our council member, Sean Abreu, is here. He needs to go to another meeting. I want to let him speak. You guys can hang around for a few. There might be some other questions. Sean, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for having me today. It was the first time since you've been brought in this role, but I'm here. Chair doing a great job. I want to start off by what the idea was behind this pilot. And yes, in many ways, where I think the Department of Sanitation could have done a lot better. It all started where we said this would be a pilot so that we can see how it works for Harlem. And if we can figure out a way that works for Harlem, then we'll figure out a way that works for the rest of the city. This was supposed to be a very deliberative process that did not happen. It was supposed to be a very collaborative process, and that did not happen. So I do share Barry's concerns to the fullest, that while I support containerization, what people of my community are saying today is that this could have been rolled out a lot better if only you paid attention to it. And that's the issue that I have with DSNY right now. And it's something that I think the commissioner should come here and hold herself accountable to the community so that we are having a conversation with her.
And the mayor.
I don't know if the mayor's gonna come.
Yeah, he stays in the solo.
But look, I do think that the photos you showed do speak to a demand, however. It shows that people are actually using them, but are they? I mean, it was cool, right? People are using it. But
That's because that's where we put our cash. Of course, we're using it.
okay, so initially, when this was rolled out, people were saying no one's gonna use them, right? So that's disproving that point. Also, these containers need to be sealed, they are. And that's where the city is now putting in a request for proposal with the new European style containers. And also with the trucks that will be automatically lifting them from the streets.
And what happens to those jobs with those automatic trucks?
Those jobs aren't going anywhere. In fact, there are the same individuals,
How many?
the same workers, the same workers will be running, one will be driving, the other will be pressing buttons on the machine, on the truck, to make it operate. In fact, it's a lot better from a labor standpoint for workers. But the frustration that I have today is making sure that the community is part of this process, a deliberative process, and that did not happen. And so it is my hope that the commissioner, DSNY, comes and meets with our community so we can have this discussion. And you can hold me accountable in that I will do everything that I can to get her to show up. I am the new sanitation chair of the city council. So I have oversight power over the city council, and we're gonna use that authority. We're gonna use our colleagues to make sure that your voices get heard. In fact, I even want to have a hearing on containerization at the council, so that all of you can come and make sure that your voices are heard. Because for it to be implemented citywide, we need to make sure that your voices are heard, and that's not happening. I want now,
This goes citywide, this ends the mayor.
if it gets
In the mayor.
we need to make sure that the rollout, clearly, I think there's a lot of room for improvement. We also can't ignore the data. There's 68% reduction in that side of the complaints. That's not made out of thin air.
How many rounds?
So these are questions that we can speak to DSNY.
asked the question, you haven't got the answers, you said, how many residents, how many lost?
I'm not the, you're directing a question, if I may?
Your assertion.
The assertion is based on data that is exclusively available to the Department of Sanitation, and that is why a hearing is important, so that we get that data and we can compel that information. If I don't got it, my job is to do a hearing on that to make sure that we get that information. That's why hearings and committees are very important. Compost. Community composting is very important to our community. The mayor has mixed community composting in this budget. And better believe that I'm gonna fight tooth and nail to make sure that community compost comes back to our neighborhoods. From education, from technical and workforce development, to making sure that you can get your composting from your local farmers markets. These are things and practices that have been ingrained in our community for the past decade. And to say that just because we're going curbside composting by the fall of 2024 should not negate the fact that we need people on the ground who know how to compost. And we also need to make sure that there's compost equity too. That when you compost, it's not just going into our landfill, that it's actually going to the communities where the compost is coming. So that's something that as chair of the sanitation committee, I want to make sure to focus on. Also, we've done a lot with reusables. We passed a bill in December that goes into effect April 1st. That will make sure millions upon millions of people who go to sport venues like Madison Square Garden, the Barclays Center, Yankee Stadium, can bring their own usable water. That's a big deal. But we want to take this even further. How many of you all have reusable bags at home and that stack keeps getting higher and higher? That's a lot of us. And so this is creating the unintended consequence of producing more than we should be putting out there. And so I have a bill in the council right now that would require change stores like Target and others to have a recirculation model where you can return that bag so other people can use it. And we're therefore not producing as many bags as necessary. And this is going to create a circular economy. Those are some of the things I'm very passionate about. Also, for this year's budget, we're going to make sure that we're fighting for more cleanup, more litter baskets. Just this past fall, we had installed from 135th Street, 142nd Street, Riverside Drive, litter baskets on every corner and they're getting serviced. We work with the dog run. Also got to give credit credit's due, the SNY did that for us. And so my job is to leverage my commission in working with the summer sanitation so we can bring home bacon. Let's be real. That's why politics is important and that's why it's important that we continue to hold sanitation to account. I have to run to another meeting. I just want to say that I appreciate you coming. I appreciate you holding us accountable. And you can count on me to make sure that we're applying the prevention where needed and that containerization is done in a way that's equitable, in a way that reflects your voices, and in a way that's efficient. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair.
Where on the results of the policy study?
So that's why we need sanitation to come and have a meeting with the community so that we know the tonnage, so that we know.
Sanitation is here now.
But they're gonna come in March because that's what they come in.
They're expanding the pilot, and we don't even know the results.
So it's not happening right now, it's actually happening in the fall of 25. However, they have made a commitment with the chair to come next March for a full presentation to get the data that I've been asking for and that you've been asking.
Is it an independent auditor?
Yeah. March. Right. The program is expanding when? Spring 2025. I think, but I said it federal.
So that we made the announcement.
Okay. March. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. All right.
No one.
Any further questions?
Yes, I want to make a statement here, Chair.
Oh, no, okay. I had wait before in the back, definitely been waiting for a while.
Is there a revenue? Very quickly.
Oh.
A lot of those neighbors right in the middle of the street, so if you walk, if you have an app, if you walk the very corner where they can sell bodega, you will see, hello. So if you want to any bodega, you can see the amount of brands on there. So the bodegas are good, they need meetings, correctly. Secondly, parts, the amount of parking parts. If you go over the website, you will see 5 years, 5 years, there is less for grass. Because there's nothing to do it sometimes, it's just a game, right? So think about that, we go to the land, try to bring out people here. I told them about it, but not about them. You can still go over the riverside, you will see very big areas in Benny. Right? So think about that. The community needs to present now the thing, I don't know what that looks like to you, but how do they talk to people in the community? Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you, Juan.
Oh, I just wanted to bring up a
Yeah.
point that, the containers, the way they, pitch them, or that they're not totally safe, because I've come home and the containers are in the middle of the block. So they're not fastened properly, so you may wanna look at how they fasten them, so walk passers by can't just unlock them.
Yes.
You talk about the buildings, first of all, buildings. So I imagine that you have some contraption that you're actually going to tip them into the back of the garbage truck without true or false. So I actually have a wheelie bin chained in front of my home. It's chained because if I didn't chain it, it would be stolen.
Right.
It sits there and my family, my tenants put the garbage in there. What's the difference of a bin that's required by the city with wheels and the wheelie bin I have now? Because the only difference is I take the black bag out of there and then put it on the curb. And then they come and pick it up. Are they gonna come into my front yard and take it now? But it's a wheelie bin. I mean, what's the vote I have two wheelie bins?
Do not give this change to your bank for mistakes and yeah, I agree. No, we know what happens to the property and it must be adequate. It's just, you know, it's very it is. However, I use my office as an example and spoke earlier. But what I do at my own home, I'm not speaking we are all different people. I would do but I actually do my best to live one, you know, open like to the hour. This is
Actually, I'm changing your bin and the city comes and they use your bin.
no. I don't know what to do. I now get into the job around 6 in the morning or so, because I can't go down the stairs just because it's legal. And then once I'm going to work, I take it back to my, that's just my personal of what I do. And of course, I have my address on it as well, because people get but so far for me, so far so good. I'm not suggesting.
And it is the rule already in place right now that if you want to set out your trash before 8 p.m., you need to use a container for your trash.
We provide wheelie bins in the original pilot program.
That's completely separate. I don't think there's a conflation.
During your app.
There was no pilot with individuals.
So it was the original question, why are there 3 dumpsters in front of single family?
Yes,
And when will they be removed?
yeah.
That is not part of the one we are removing.
I
What day will they get removed?
This pilot is gonna be, the pilot that's happening right now, with the shared containers, that will continue at least for 1 full calendar year. So.
But it's not what we're presenting to
Shared.
out of the pilot.
So the question, I think the question is here, that if you have a single family home, and they have 3 containers in the building.
Not
If you have,
dumpsters.
excuse me. Where you have larger buildings, there's nothing there, it would make more sense to have those containers in front of a multi-family building, can that be adjusted and moved?
Not at this time, but that's what we're doing when we expand the pilot in spring 2025. That will, only 30+ buildings, 30+ units, buildings will have the in-street containers. And that's spring 2025.
Why do we have?
Because the pilot that's currently in place with the shared containers is a shared. The next phase will just be individual assigned to address based off feedback. That was phase number 2 before we start.
As a basic.
So can you at least honor it, break that? As part of the pilot.
When you move them to the other side of the street, I mean, you just bring it back.
So we have, maybe there's a few other, we do have questions, I just want to follow up on the point we make here. She already has a really barrel. Does she have to buy with another approach, she has to buy another one? Or they be able to use the one she already has? Is that part of your question?
Yeah, the thing is,
Was that part of your question? Just one.
In 2026. 2026, if you're using an individual container, an individual wheelie bin, sorry, to use the proper language, then you will need to use one of the city mandated ones, because by that time, not in 2024, by that time, then we'll be using trucks that use the containerized mechanism to lift it. So yes, but in 2026, not 2024.
Question in the back, sir?
General, is there any consideration of aesthetics involved?
No.
This is a historic
community, and now that's their view. Big container, one more better. It has this other commission been involved in this decision. The.
It's not.
Right. That's so true.
So the procurement process for the new containers has taken place, it's in process now, so we don't have, as far as I know, we do not know what they're gonna look like. But, I do understand
We hear you, no, we hear what you're saying, let me take everything back, and I think I guarantee you that. And I do, based on what the chair said earlier, we'll be back here again, and this conversation has to continue.
Right.
We need a partnership in the government, we need a partnership with the community, we are not here trying to, say we have everything, we know what we know, but we're gonna listen.
You didn't reflect.
I've always said that, we're gonna listen. We're gonna take back what we hear, and consideration of the aesthetics is very important for the community, clearly, that we're gonna take back as well. And as the process unfolds, and, we'll put that into the mix of things, I'm sure.
So these are not new questions.
Wait,
We've asked these questions and we're hoping to get answers, and you're saying you're going to go away and listen to get it. So we haven't been listened to. We said in our letter that was written to the Department of Sanitation, the mayor's office, that what you represented at the beginning and the photos is not representative of what's there today. They were completely different, and it's not. And we pointed this out, and we have not got responses or any feedback. So I hope if you sense any sense of frustration, it's because we have not got any real meaningful communication from you.
I did get a ticket, however, because trash was gathered around the dumpsters because the street sweepers can't get to them.
Which we have to go to a tree for.
Hi, so I'm a member.
Sorry, just allow me to do this. Please don't take it to go. Can we talk before I leave, because I'm really curious.
I have the video of the street sweepers skipping our house.
No, I'd like to know, please, let's talk.
Okay.
Because I'd like to know about that.
A lot of them.
Appreciate it.
So I just want to bring up something that I think is really important, and I'm just trying to envision how this scenario is going to play out when we have all of these dumpsters on the street. If you remember, we've been having a lot of heavy rains in the past few years, and there's been like storm drains clogged, and that we were all familiar with what's been happening. So what is your plan, or if you don't have one, then I would like to put a little note in to please have a plan to make sure that sanitation is cleaning the street. If they said that they had a buildup of debris underneath, this is something that has to be taken care of because, and there was that really bad flooding in the subway, I think it's the storm drains. So we don't want to have that happen again. So if there are going to be more of these containers, when this is rolled out, please take that into consideration.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it has to be tended to what's already on the ground.
Right. Exactly.
All right, I think that's it for now. We'll be back next month. We'll be in between. Okay. Oh, sorry. Let's see. One last thing.
Street, we have down Broadway, there were about 20 of these vans, and every one of them laden with trash. Both sides of the street, zero recycling. So how do we balance that out?
Yeah.
Because if the city is promoting recycling, we're supposed to be leading the nation in recycling. Why are we not doing anything about it? There are bins that are on 46th Street that are labeled for compost. No recycling.
Yes, so that was part of the original, way to limit the amount of containers. So recycling, it does not have to be containerized. It's not, this is strictly for trash. You still put your recycling.
Everything else.
Don't place that directly, still place that directly in the dirt.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna have bins and stuff here.
Oh.
Talking to
Our
us.
site is what I was talking about.
It's not a 20 flat, it's already
Because we would need additional containers, in order to. have all those. But again, the shared pilot is not, what's in the deadline right now, it's not what it's expanding to further. To the community board as well. It is strictly going to be containers that are assigned to buildings. The shared pilot that is currently taking place is not what is expanding to community board.
Why can no adjustments be made to the current pilot? Why does it have to be in place for an entire year? You've heard about how it's not working in certain ways. Why can't you make the adjustment now rather than waiting another 12 months? Why is it impossible to make a change?
Let's get it approved. Get it right, then.
Why? I wonder why. You said it has to be in place for a year. Why does it have to be in place for a year?
When it's not working.
When it's not working, why can't you be flexible?
We totally hear that. I think that one of the reasons that it has to be in place for a calendar year, at least a calendar year, is to make sure that it takes into account all 4 seasons. So that was from when it starts. I did not mean the calendar year from this moment. I'm at the calendar year from, and that's at least, I do not want to be, I'm very clearly saying at least, because it could continue on further past the year, but we do want to be able to test all 4 seasons with snow, with rain, with flooding, with all of the different collection mechanisms that we have in place. We want to be able to test all of this, but we are learning a lot about, again, the volume of frequency and how much collection is needed.
But given the fact that it's going to take some time to order, manufacture, and be custom units, right? Is there a gap in time between the completion of this pilot and ordering the next phase, whatever it is, to allow for that flexibility for design changes?
It's in market now, but again, in the procurement process now.
Maybe they're the wrong guy. We should get things done right.
We don't know all the time here.
First grade already in our space and thank for the good work of your so far today. I don't know if any organization involved like understand and I'm not upset with the hearing from their farmers, issues that have been raised. You can take it from myself to the attention, we are definitely going to represent, and your member made it very clear as to where he stands on this. I've been around a little bit, and I've seen what the members can do when they are ready. And your members made it very, very clear. You heard it very loudly and clearly. And something tells me we're going to get it on in the morning sometime tomorrow. About this stuff. She said, please, we hear you. Please, we do hear you.
All right, thank you for your time. We would like the commissioner to come in March. We can just relay that. To be continued.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. We do have a quorum in person, so I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7:25. Can I get a motion
So no,
to adopt the agenda? Second. Done.
Looks like you're second cry for me.
All right. Motion to adopt the minutes. Any necessary changes?
Motion.
Second. We had a presentation from sanitation. Next on our agenda is the Uptown Night Market. Is anyone here from the Uptown Night Market? Marco, come and present. All right.
But there.
Okay.
Can you guys see me, hear me?
I can hear you. I don't see you, but I can hear you. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see you.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, thanks. The floor is yours.
It's a little lagging, so I'll do my best. Good evening, everybody. I appreciate you having us over here. This becomes a small tradition. This is the 4th year of the Uptown 9 Market returning. We are very, very excited to return to something that is become bigger than a food festival, bigger than a cultural festival. It becomes like a sign for New York City. I can't even express how many times I keep hearing in meetings that I have on a regular basis about people that visited our event in the Uptown Night Market over here, all the way from Brooklyn and Long Island, Jersey and beyond. And I'm getting such great feedback from people coming and enjoying. It's always a little bit of a bittersweet that I wish there were more businesses out there in that strip, so to people to kind of get to experience and support. But I think overall, what we've accomplished with your help and with your guidance over the last couple of years has been significant for the community in Harlem in general and for New York City. So this year we are about to start in April. April 11 will be the first date that we're coming back. Slight change with the setup, just to kind of, last year it was a graduation. We feel like it was a graduation year. We finally understood the real flow of the crowd and how to manage that. We've been in consistent conversation with the good folks at the 30th precinct. Just making sure that consistently we evaluate each event and see if there's any challenges or anything that we need to work. Everything is so far, knock on wood, we're feeling very comfortable. Record high this year of applicants from Harlem. I can't, to be honest, identify exactly the streets right now because we take by neighborhood. But we have a record high of applicants from Harlem going to be participating. And record high, like right now, what we have, I think it was 81% so far of women-owned businesses within the community. So that's also another accomplishment that we're very proud of. And, the performance this year, again, we are collaborating with Late Night Harlem Jazz to do some of the performances, but we also are collaborating with other organizations that will allow us to bring the young folks, those up and coming performers to give them a stage and to really support them on the way, for their career. So that's it. All in all, that's it. Same setup, 4 to 10. We really try and make sure that we leave as soon as possible, music shuts down at 10 p.m. and clean up. Usually, we've timed it at 11:15. The place is brought back to its position. And, just grateful for the opportunity and grateful for for this community that's been supportive. And, if anybody has any question, happy to answer. But I just wanted to say, thank you again. This is going to be the 4th year. I can't even believe that it's already going to be the 4th year. So I'm excited about it. This is going to be our greatest season so far. And I'm excited to see everybody coming and visiting us.
Thank you, Marco. Any questions? Uptown Market takes place here on 12th Avenue. All right, seeing none. Thanks again, Marco. Look forward to seeing you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Have a good night.
All right, you as well. Moving forward, my chair's report is in your package. I will go very quickly for time. Had the pleasure of meeting with the new university president at Columbia. It was a good meeting, very receptive, very engaging with us. I spoke about the community benefits agreement, which she had read before she even took the job, so I was quite impressed. I asked about more exposure to young people in the community going on campus, so they know they're welcome. A lot of the other kids say, well, I see the gates on a sheet of guards, so I think I can't go in. No, I can walk through. And encourage. She offered to have a forum for students, and she would have CUNY, SUNY, and Columbia there as well, and a community college. So everyone not looking for a 4-year college or looking to go to Columbia or can afford it for that. So she was very open to that. One of the things I look at for the benefits agreement, I monitor 40 undergrad scholarships that are given from the community benefits agreement to the surrounding area. And most of them go to elite high schools, the students that are in the elite brand, you know, the elite high school, quantum science, and prep schools outside of me because their home address is here. So I spoke about engaging with some of the local high schools to bring students on campus to have them apply. There are students who have grades information, and if they get a 4-year scholarship, they might well go to Columbia. So she was all for that, so that was good. So overall, it was a very good meeting. She promised to meet with us quarterly at least, or her staff, so we can express what's going on. Budget, for those co-chairs of committees that have not responded, please send in information on the budget as it pertains to your particular committee. We met today with the borough president and talked about several items. Our core items are health, housing, youth. So those are the 3 things we spoke about. Of all the community board chairs in the past, those are the things that are definitely on the top. Also, seniors aging in place was another big issue that we spoke about because this area in particular, people are living longer. We have a lot of seniors. So we spoke about the kids that and mental health. You probably know just walking the streets or riding the subway, that's a big issue, not being addressed to the fullest extent. People needing help, endangering themselves often and others. So another item I spoke about. Congestion pricing. This board is looking at, as I said earlier, residential parking permits, because with the onslaught of that, whenever it happens, we feel that we will really be inundated by people from outside the community that come and take spaces that, you know, it's very difficult. So we're looking at that. We spoke to the borough president about that. Several other boards, 12 which is above us, 7 below us, have the same thoughts that could be in fact occurring. Probably my report for the most part to my board members. We held an attendance review recently. Several people did not show up. I don't know if those people are online or in the room, but it's important. I have said it from day one. People who apply and come onto the board have the greatest intentions, but sometimes it's just not your time. You might have a conflict with your job, family, illness, education, and it impedes you from doing what you want to do for the community, which means there's an empty seat. Right now we have 4 people who have resigned, and those seats are empty. But we have other people who have not resigned, and just don't show up. So it might not be your time. You can reapply. If you feel it's conflicting with work or something else, step back and come back another time. Let someone else who has the time at this point take that position. So you hear my voice when they sent you a letter and didn't show up. We're doing it one more time. So it'll give you the opportunity to explain what's going on with that. I won't hear that. It might be something we can adjust, maybe a different committee that meets on a different matter. All that can be worked out. Right. And with that, I will close and go to the treasurer's report.
Hi, good evening all. The treasurer's report is in your packet. It's the green page. So basically the items that are on our report are the items that are monthly, storage spaces, cleaning, and you can see all of that on the report. What I do want to stress is that the discretionary funding, expense funding for FY25 is the applications are open for nonprofits and the deadline to apply is February 20th. So please, if you have a nonprofit that you would like to, something that you'd like to have funded by the discretionary funding, please apply. Deadline is Tuesday, February 20th. Thank you. That is my report.
All right, District Manager stepped away, West Hall Development report is in the package. UMass is Reverend Morgan Thomas online? Pacific. Or Pat Walker Johnson, are you on? All right. Okay, we're gonna go to Manhattan Borough President's office. Are they here to speak?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you calling upon me. Good evening, Community Board 9. My name is Porfirio Figueroa, and I am the Community Coordinator for the Manhattan Borough President's Office, representing Community Boards 11 and 12. I'm temporarily stepping in on behalf of my colleague who stepped away, Mina. I'm very, very happy to be here because it's my old stomping grounds. Great to see everybody. As you know, the Community Board's portal is open once again. Thank you for saying something about that. If you are a Community Board member whose term is expiring this year, or if you're a member or a community member who is considering applying for the first time, we welcome you. But you raise a great point. It is a commitment, and we hope to have you apply. And you could do that at https://www.manhattanbp.nyc.gov/. Sidewalk sheds, our office has been working to rid the sidewalk sheds across our borough. And to highlight that issue, we presented our Shetty Awards to some of the longest standing sidewalks. And it was like no surprise that some of the worst offenders had some of their sheds up for over 10 years. We have collaborated on sidewalk sheds legislation last year, and will continue to keep everyone posted on the progress as things move forward in the city council. We are doing 2 events on February 20th. One is with the Department of Finance, New York City Tax Commission, and we will host an information session on notice of property value. So you will be able to learn about market versus assessed values, how taxes are calculated, and how to save with property tax exemptions and abatements. And this event will be at 1 Center Street on the mezzanine level, February 20th from 5 to 8 p.m. We're also doing our Black History Month, celebrating Black history. We will have an event titled Bronx Born, Manhattan Made, and it will be to celebrate the evolution of hip hop and the contributions Manhattan made in the 50 years of hip hop. It will be February the 20th at Aaron Davis Hall. The doors will open at 6 p.m. You do need to RSVP in advance, and you can do that on our website. Save the date. The State of the Borough will be Sunday, March 2nd at 2 p.m. And so the Manhattan Borough President will present his State of the Address at Hunter College at K Playhouse. We are also offering free tax prep at our northern office located at 431 West 125th Street on Fridays from 9 to 5. Please call the office for the appointment, and that number is 212-531-1609. And it is free for anyone making $85,000 or less. I urge you all to go to our website, which is www.manhattanbp.nyc.gov/, and there you will find news, updates, legislative initiatives, and all things Mark Levine for the Borough of Manhattan. And you can also post your community events on the events page. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much. Any questions for the Borough President's office? Okay. Moving forward, we're going to jump back to the District Manager's report.
Good evening, all. My report is included in your packet. I have a few announcements I'd like to share with you. NYC Parks is hiring for the summer. If you're interested in making a little over $20 an hour. We're working as a seasonal aide for the Parks Department. Please contact, City Parks or visit their site at bit.ly/park, 24, M is in Mary, N is in Nancy. We have flyers on the table to my left, and it has a QR code that you can scan. If you know anyone that would be interested, or if you're interested, please see the flyers on the table. Also, Councilmember Green will be hosting a Montezuma Park Community Forum to address the concerns in and around the plaza. That forum will be held on Tuesday, February 27th at 6 p.m. at PS 192 in the auditorium. That's 500 West 138th Street, between Amsterdam and Broadway. The flyers are also at the table. And last but not least, I stepped away, so I don't know if anyone mentioned, SYEP has applications open. If you know a young person between the ages of 15 and 24, or 14 and 24, I'm sorry, please visit DOE's website, where you can contact me tomorrow, and I'll forward you the link to SYEP jobs as well. Do you have any questions? Thank you. And also, the district office will be closed on Monday, this Monday, which is, I'm sorry, February 19th for President's Day. Thank you.
Any questions? Okay, we're gonna move into public session. Yes. Daniel Lewis. Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. On April 13th, we're having a home buyers expo. So we're calling it home buyers expo, because we want to get the people to come back to the 5 boroughs. So personally, I am tired of people saying that there's no housing here, especially in Harlem. Okay, here's all my tweets. These are all the I was at Congressman Espion's career fair, and that was the buzz of the whole thing, that our police officers, our firefighters are traveling 2 and 3 hours back and forth because there's nothing here in the city. And I said, really, I have 13 places here in the city. If we have a home buyers expo and I educate you on down payment assistance, what to do with Big Mama's house, okay, that when you have a mortgage, you should have mortgage insurance. Would you come out? And they all said yes. So on the 13th, it'll be at Victoria Theater from 9:30 until 5. It's unlike anything that you've ever seen, because people are gonna come ready to purchase. They're gonna have all of their taxes and everything together. We're gonna have banks lined up like this. You'll come and get a pre-approval letter. Then you'll go to a seminar. It'll show you, you can get down payment assistance, like up to 20% of free money. You know, so we have things, you ask for it already. The next day, you go shopping. So you're gonna have your pre-approval letter, you know, if your credit and everything's on the par, you're gonna think of a 5 borough bike race, or have a 5 borough world open house. So the QR code, you'll scan it, they'll independently go, and then they can see for themselves that they don't have to drive 2 to 3 hours. They can come back home. So that's the thing, it's welcome back harder, come back home again. And I invite all of you guys, homeowners that builds communities, let's go. So thank you for having me. It's at the Victoria Theater. I have words here. I'm so sorry I didn't put it in Spanish, but we have them. So there's a word, and then one thing, it's free. But Harlem School of the Arts was so high. When I lost this venue, they were gonna cancel their 60th Founder's Day anniversary because they said we needed to discuss. So I asked everyone that comes if they can donate $20. It goes to kids that couldn't afford to go to the Harlem School of the Arts summer programs. You don't have to donate, but it would be nice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Next on the list is. Hey.
Oh, I set it up.
But thank you.
Hey, I won't comment on it. Anyone online? Okay. Moving forward, we will go into our action items. Oh, sorry, I skipped over the election. Yes. Not on purpose. Yeah. District Attorney's Office. Are you there?
Jocelyn Minaya.
I'm here.
Okay, you're up, Jocelyn. Thank you for attending.
Of course, my pleasure. Good evening, everyone. Such a pleasure to see you all, if only virtually, but I promise I will be making my way to the in-person meeting soon. I want to thank the community board, Yuta, for helping us spread the word on our on the programs that we have coming up. And I want to add 2 more, and I'll send you the information, Yuta, tomorrow, so that you can please continue to share. So we recently opened once again, our 2024 Gun Violence Prevention Fellowship. Application process is open. For those who've not heard of it, it's a 3-month fellowship which offers young adults affected by gun violence an immersive platform to work with our staff on transformative strategies. And at the end of the program, they get to present to the DA, their innovative policy or possible legislative solutions to address this grave issue of gun violence. So the requirements are that the applicants be between the ages of 18 and 25 and must have a high school diploma or GED and must be enrolled in college or have 1 year of work or volunteer experience. So the deadline will be March 4th. And unless it's extended, hopefully we can get a good group of representation from Community Board 9 youth. And then I also would like to share that we are having a new program this year for our youth, and it's called the Youth Ambassador Program. And there are 6 communities that we're targeting. West Harlem, Central Harlem is one of the 6 communities. And for this, the applicants must be 16 to 19 years old and either reside or attend school here in Manhattan. So for the gun violence fellows, that is that does have a stipend. Again, just really encouraging our community youth to apply for both or all 3 of the programs that we're offering this summer. And then finally, I want to introduce the community board to my new colleague here. Finally, I've gotten some help, and I would like to introduce Fernanda Luján, who is our new community engagement coordinator. She will be working closely with me and CB9 community to get us out there and just do tremendous outreach and continue to touch the communities that we serve. And if Fernanda can just say hello to everyone really quickly.
Good evening, everybody. I'm very excited to be here meeting you all virtually. My name is Fernanda Luján. I'm the new coordinator for the Manhattan DA's office. I look forward to seeing you in future meetings and events. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, DA's office. Next up, Mary Hernandez from Danny O'Donnell's office.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I have a couple of updates from our office that I want to share. We still have our book drive ongoing. It's going on, well, it ends in 2 weeks, so there are 2 weeks left to donate books to children in New York City public schools. This is again K through 12. You can stop by our office Monday through Thursday from 10 to 4. Give us a call if you want to coordinate a time to drop off books during the weekend or Fridays. I know some of you guys can't do Monday through Thursday. You can also drop them off with our doorman. They will be taking the books if you stop by outside of the hours that I mentioned, 10 to 4. But if you want to reach me, you can give our office a call at 212-866-3970. And again, this is with a partnership with Project Cicero. I also want to mention a couple of legislative updates from our office. So as you know, right now we're still in budget season, but there are a couple of legislative updates that I want to provide from Assemblymember O'Donnell. So, sorry, my dog is trying to get treats over here. So we have the senior citizen jury duty exemption that the Assemblymember recently introduced. So if you are a senior age 72 and older, you can be exempted from jury under this proposed legislation. You'll be exempted from jury duty if you have mobility issues or if your physical health does not allow you to do so. He also introduced an affordable housing legislation. So this is Bill 9110. Under this legislation, it would require educational institutions with an endowment of $10 billion or more in New York City to incorporate 30% affordable housing units in property owned by the institution, as long as it provides any form of housing. I also want to mention another legislative update, which is fracking wastewater regulation. As you know, the Assemblymember is the chair of the Tourism, Parks, Arts, and Sports Development Committee. So he's obviously very passionate about advancing legislation that protects the environment. And one of his legislation will amend the environmental conservation law to prohibit the use of drilling fluids, brine, and flowback water from wells, pools, or fields on any highway for any purpose, including de-icing. I have one more legislative update, which is 8452, which is the lead dust contamination standards. Legislation would establish emission standards, soil lead hazard standards, and lead dust hazard standards as well. I will stick around if you guys have any questions, and I will also be including my email in the chat again for any of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have a question myself. Want to get an update from your office on the proposed elevator at 125th Street and Broadway. Is that moving along? Where does that stand?
Yeah, so I actually don't want to say too much on that right now for a few reasons, but you should all stay tuned because next week we will have an update to share with the community and we'll make a public announcement on that. But of course, as you know, the Assemblymember is one of the biggest advocates for this. It's really frustrating. I will, echo his concerns and frustration on the delays. I don't want to get ahead of myself though, but we will make an announcement sometime next week. Thank you so much for, continuously asking about this. It's still at the forefront of our priorities.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll look forward to that announcement. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Next, the Public Advocate's Office, Solomon Acevedo, I believe is on. Are you there?
Hey, good evening, everyone.
We can't hear you.
You gotta speak up. Can't hear
you. Pardon me. How about now? Is this better?
Better. Yeah, much better.
Yeah, you know how Zoom has these automatic background settings to help make it easier for people to hear. Technology at its finest. Good evening, everybody. I'm Solomon Acevedo, he, him pronouns, and I'm the Deputy Public Advocate for Housing and Health Equity. I've been with the Office of the Public Advocate for 4 years. Been on these meetings before, but just wanted to thank and welcome, thank everyone for being supportive over our latest victory that just took place regarding the overriding of vetoes of the How Many Stops Act and the legislation to end solitary confinement in New York City jails. As many of you may know, a controversial experience, but definitely huge strides in transforming the culture of jails and prisons and our streets in New York when it comes to racial equity and holding our law enforcement agencies accountable to really providing the best form of support for people being detained in jails and for people walking the streets every day, especially our young Black and brown New Yorkers who are disproportionately impacted. So we hope to be working with communities on the plan to implement these two pieces of legislation. Obviously, we'll be working with local police precincts and trying to understand the patterns and ways they can best gather information. So for more information on that and many other things going down, you could check out our website, advocate.nyc.gov. I'll put all of this in the chat, and just want to finally leave off with two upcoming events. February 26th, our office will be hosting a Black History Month event that will be taking place on 1 Center Street. Really focus on honoring those who are alive today in the spirit of honoring those who are living and giving them their flowers. We'll be circulating some information about that as well in the chat. And finally, on the last day of February, February 29th, from 6 to 8, we'll be hosting a Black History of Home Ownership Town Hall. As you know, yesterday was a statewide hearing on budget and housing, and a lot of critical issues came up around pathways to home ownership and finding innovations for Black homeowners in our city. And so we're going to take some time to look at the history of Black home ownership in our city, but also think about how we can address some issues going down now and what we can do for the future to be able to transform the way we have access to permanent housing in New York City. So I know there's probably some thoughts and questions, concerns. If not, I'll leave it off there and leave my information in the chat. But thank you all for coming together to be active citizens, to have healthy dialogue, no matter how tense it is, it always leads to a greater level of harmony. So I really appreciate all that's going down here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I just have one comment myself. I don't know if you were here for the whole entire meeting. Were you? Were you here at the beginning of the meeting with Department of Sanitation?
Yes.
I'd just like you to take back our concerns and my neighbor's concerns regarding the containerization program pilot. There seems to be some issues, so just make them aware of that. We're asking for the commissioner herself to come in March. And maybe Giovanni can tune in then as well to hear what's happening with the pilot program as far as containerization. So thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. I'll definitely relay that information. A lively combo. Thanks again.
All right. Are there any other elected officials or representatives here online that I've not seen or I've not spoken as of yet? Speak now or? All right, that concludes elected officials, public session. We will go to action items. First action item is incident and maternal mortality. And that is how I take it, resolution come.
Right.
How we go? Yes.
Just briefly,
Can you come up front? Shit.
thank you, everyone. Our resolution stemmed from an appreciation of POCO enacting or leading legislation on establishing or addressing infant and maternal mortality. Over the last year and a half, we have the Health and Environment Committee has had a couple of presenters to speak about this, one being a doula. So this is of great interest to us since maternal mortality has increased, particularly among Black women, Asian women, and Hispanic women, pretty much with that order. So we want to encourage enthusiasm for this legislation. It will allocate $4.5 million annually to support regional perinatal centers, and it will include establishing a directory of doulas and extending Medicaid coverage to include doula services. In addition, we want to emphasize that we're calling upon our local health facilities to including hospitals and clinics to actively collaborate with state and community organizations to ensure implementation of these initiatives. We have talked about it, and there will be a presentation even at our public health forum on March 16th. In addition, we are urging our local healthcare institutions, Columbia, we are naming them, Columbia Presbyterian Hospital, Harlem Hospital Center, and Mount Sinai Hospital, to intensify their efforts in contributing to the decrease in infant and maternal mortality rates, because oftentimes it is at the hospitals where the mothers are not listened to. And that has really made for a number of deaths. It's unfortunate, obviously, but so we're naming names and we're saying you have to do better. You have to really do what you can, whether it's adding training among your physicians and other providers, but this has got to change. So we urge you to support this, and I thank our committee, Health and Environment, for initiating this resolution and the support of the executive committee and bringing it to the general board.
Okay. All right, we're gonna take a vote on this. It's in your packet as well. And unanimous consent? Any objections, abstentions? Unanimous consent? I have a second by whom? Tina. Tina, okay.
Unanimous consent?
Yeah. So it passes, unanimous consent, no? Yes. Okay. Thank you. And thank you to the Health and Environment Committee for putting that forward. That's very important. Thank you. Appreciate all the work. Next up, liquor licenses. Alan, you on? Alan Thompson.
Yes, I'm on. I'm on.
Okay, floor is yours.
I'm sorry. There are 4 new liquor licenses, okay? The first one is let me see. Pippin Hall in, let me see this. It's 1792 Amsterdam Avenue. The second one is Dan Frank Cafe at 1811 Amsterdam Avenue. Next is Vino Fino, 1250 Amsterdam Avenue. The Blue Room located at 1813 Amsterdam Avenue, and Cafeteria, 1264 Amsterdam Avenue, 127. All of these new applications have been approved by the precincts.
Second.
I hear unanimous consent for this as well. I have a second. Abstention. Abstain to Pat Paula and Heather. And Annette Robinson abstaining. All right. So,
Next up.
great. Yeah.
All right, next up is liquor licenses that have been renewed. Okay, the first one is Sushi Vita, 3369 Broadway. Old Craft Beer, 1739 Amsterdam. The Trustees of Columbia on 17th Street. Press Inc., aka Toast. JBB Ventures, and oh my God. Here's the next company. They've all been accepted by the precinct.
And you know what she said? No. There's a question.
Sorry, so just looking at OPAP here, it says the 30th precinct has objections, is that a typo or?
Which,
Oh, yeah. Is that a
which
typo
one?
for OPAP here?
Old craft.
Which one?
Old craft beer.
No, they had no objections, no. No, there were problems, I think the last time they were up. This time they have no problems at all, according to the SLA Slam. There's been no
Okay,
issues
it was-
since no issues since 21.
It was typo.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for pointing that out. Unanimous, Mr. Mayor? Second. Abstain, and two abstentions.
The same people saying.
Yes.
Jason Robinson, Paul.
Yes.
No, Robinson did not.
Oh, no, just two, just two, yes. Member Colwell, member Jason. All right.
There's one more.
One
There's one more. Victor, there's one more,
yes.
the corporate change due to adding on another principal at Bono Italian Restaurant.
Okay. We have that last one.
I'm sorry?
Yes, we did.
Is that on last month as well?
No, we decided no executive.
No,
Executive
no,
meeting.
Bono has never had a problem.
Oh, once again, yes, no, I was correct. That was executive board meeting. All right, they added a new principle, so change. Okay. That's just for the record, no vote needs to be taken on that. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Need a vote on this as well, I would think, correct?
Yes.
Vote on this.
So vote on the change.
Unanimous consent?
Yeah, what is it?
Unanimous
Thank you.
consent? Second.
No, we're just asking that.
Carolyn, you want to elaborate on the corporate change?
I'm sorry?
Can you elaborate on the corporate change as a condition of a principle?
Corporate change is
Correct?
due to the fact Bono has added on a principal, another person as a principal in his business. That's what that is about. He has added on principal, okay?
Gotcha. Just for clarification. Great. All right, so we had unanimous consent. We had a second. Anybody abstaining on the corporate change?
Is that?
Okay.
The two saying two.
First thing.
Ms. Paul, Reverend Paul, stay, okay.
Why are you
saying? All right.
Yep.
Old business.
Old business?
The old business?
I'm a preacher.
Any new business?
No. If I say, don't be drunk. Matter of fact, the Jesus goes.
Motion to adjourn?
Don't move.
God has answered my prayer. Hallelujah.
Don't move.
Hallelujah. Well, they can say what we go. I like those pictures. I really like those pictures.
Hi, Deidre.
Oh, they came in for Sean's.
I was saying hi, Deidre.
But I was celebrating the stairs.
Are you talking to me, Carol?
Not really, but
Yeah,
I'll
I was
save it for
saying
you for the
hi.
next time.
I didn't come today because I was so congested.
What I was saying is
I
that
stayed in.
yeah, he needed to.
I'll call you over the weekend.
Right.
Okay, well, call me after Sunday because I'm on my way to Poland.
Huh?
12 million, but they didn't
I'm on my way to Poland. I'm at the
We'll
airport
talk
now.
when you come back. We'll talk when you come back.
Okay, Sunday. I'll be back Sunday.
Okay, we'll talk then.
And I hate this walking around.
Hi, Cotil.
Hi, I'm in Belgium.
Oh.
It's stranded a little bit, yeah. It's
How's the
cold.
weather over there? Is it cold?
We had like 15 degrees Celsius, which is very high.